Hey everybody, Stacy here, and I got my crown on, which means that I am interviewing another one of the amazing Ms. Achievement World delegates. We're going to be interviewing Ms. Achievement North America, Esther Renee. So stick with us right here on Pageantry Now. Hey everybody, Stacy here. Thanks for joining me. So excited because I get to interview one of my sister queens, and I'm so tickled that she's going to be with me and talk about her reign and what she's been doing with the Ms. Achievement World organization, Dr. World Productions. It is Esther Renee, and she is Ms. Achievement North America 2022, and she's just going to talk about why she does this crazy thing called pageantry, and I'm excited about that too. Just for all of you, Pageantry Now is all about positivity and pageantry and being able to highlight the amazing things that title holders do using a crown and a sash. This is, you are part of this experience too. So please, if you are in watching, leave comments, ask questions, bring your friends, be part of the conversation. We really appreciate that. Please make sure that you keep everything PC because we do have, teens and children that watch the episodes or listen to them later on. So we want to make sure that everything they see and hear is correct. With all of that, let me get this thing going. Here we go. Hey.
Hi. Hi. How are you?
We're all twinning. Oh my goodness. Sparkles and blue. That's the way to roll. Oh my goodness. Okay. I am so excited to have you, my queen. As I call you all the time, Queen Esther. I just think that you're such a beautiful human. So do me a favor, introduce yourself to everybody so they can get to know who you are.
Well, hello, everyone. I am Esther Renee, and I am Miss Achievement North America 2022. And I just bring you greetings from the great state of Ohio. Go Bucks! I am not just your average nut. No, I'm a Buckeye. And I am just so excited to be joining you today and to being able to spend time with Stacy and everyone who is tuning in or who watch later.
Yay! I'm so happy. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
No, and goodness, oh my gosh. Again, I'm gonna just go on. I love your hair. Like, I just think that the beautiful, gorgeous, like girl, looking so gorgeous. I mean, not that we're not about, I mean, we're not necessarily about external beauty. The system that we're with, the Miss Achievement World, which is part of Dr. World Productions, is I think about external beauty or internal beauty that comes to the outside and becomes this. I think it's an aura. Like, I feel like there is definitely like with all of the queens that are in the organization, I feel like there is this different feel about all of us and about how our beauty is a different thing. So, God, I'm rambling. Oh goodness, it's going to start
No,
wrong.
you're not. You're fine.
So I'm going to ask you the hard question first. We'll get that one out of the way. Do you like frogs? Why or why not?
I like Kermit.
Okay.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? Okay, that's all you get because, I can't carry a tune in a bucket. So that's all you get. But yeah, I like Kermit, but I'm not so sure about the other frogs. I've seen some. I remember being a Girl Scout, and it was at Camp Kenjockety, and we would be sleeping, and the bullfrogs would let out the roar, these like huge obnoxious sounds, and that scared me. And so all frogs to me are like the bullfrogs that just let out this sound that resonates over the campgrounds that are like hundreds of acres, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think I particularly care for the living ones as much as I do the fuzzy puppet ones called Kermit.
I got it. And like I grew up in the Midwest, so I get it. I was a campfire girl, so like I grew up in Michigan. So I always tell people like I played with the pollywogs. Like I was that girl that was like, okay, let's see what they look like when they're little and become frogs and what's the process. And it was very science for me. And I thought that was cool. I like the metamorphosis, but
Cool.
yeah, we and here in Florida we have little tree frogs. So we have like the little ones, which are kind of cool.
That'd be cute. That would be
Yeah,
sweet.
but the big ones, I don't know. Like, I mean, I could see how that would be not so much fun.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right, so
Yeah.
let's talk. And all week long, I've been trying to talk about the competition and what drew you to Ms. Achievement World, the title, and then the organization of Dr. Will Productions, and then we'll talk about briefly about the areas of competition because I do want people to really understand this virtual system and how it is so different from everything else. So first, let's talk about your why you chose this system.
Well, the reason that I chose Ms. Achievement is actually what drew me in was Dr. World. And I have over 60 credit hours to my credit, if you will, for a doctorate, a PhD. But then their divine direction pulled me out of school and said that not for now, not for me. And I was just really impressed that there was a pageant that honored women of achievement, people who have gone out and I'm a lifelong learner. I do training and development for adults. That's part of my career as a human resources professional. So it just really exhilarated me to see that there was a pageant that gave homage to that, to tribute to that. And then to be able to see that there was a pageant that I could participate in because I haven't quite earned that higher learning, that terminal degree, if you will, and being able to see that there was another organization that did that, or that she had a pageant that did that, I was like, let me check it out. And the tenets, community service and mentoring and education. I mean, that's what I'm all about. It's what I've been about all of my life. Literally, I mentioned Girl Scouts since the age of 4. I was a 4-year brownie before Daisy Girl Scouts even existed. And so it was just that draw. It's my nature. I saw the alignment, the synergy that was there and said, hey, I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah, now we are officially one of the one of the organizations that can authorize for the president's called the service or the president's community service award, and then the lifetime achievement award, which is the president's called a service award. So all of those hours of service that you put in as a brownie count towards the president's called service award because it's a lifetime achievement. So 4,000 hours gets you an official letter from the president. You get a very special medal and a pin that I hold on every single one of my sashes because
Wow.
that was one of the greatest honors of my life, was having the ability to say that I had put in those hours. And I know you have worked tirelessly in your community and given back. And the soul of this organization is all about that. How do we lift other people up? How do we give community service? How do we mentor? How do we educate? And I know that that's really what is in your heart. So I think that I hear a call to service award coming for somebody. I know once you just have to fill out
Wow. I
the
didn't know it was
yeah.
all your life. I thought it had to be just when you file, or like you have to track it. And from the point of
No.
track, wow,
Yeah,
I
so you
learned
can
something
go back. So
today.
yeah, call to service is 4,000 hours. So every year that you can do the community service awards, the presidential awards. So they come in bronze, silver, and gold, and that's done on a yearly basis. So you could get your sash and have multiple, years of the different colors that you have. But
Mhm.
if you go back and you're able to get someone to be able to help you certify, which I'm sure our amazing director Diana will help you do that, you could qualify for the lifetime achievement.
Wow.
And I Diana's like, "Are you going to do it again?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" Like I've logged more than 4,000 hours since I got mine in
Mhm.
2006, so let's do it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
there you go.
Ah,
Oh my
exciting. That's exciting.
and you
Yes.
can do it as a group too, which is Diana messaged me about it the other day, that we can actually log as Ms. Achievement World or Dr. World Productions. We can do it as a group and get group awards as well. So I
Oh,
think,
that's awesome.
yeah,
Awesome. Teamwork makes the dream work.
yes, ma'am. So I love what you're saying is that really the pillars of this organization is what really sets it apart. And myself, just like you, I thought, well, I can't be a doctor. And I remember saying to Diana, I just am so bummed because I would love to be your queen. And she's like, I brought back Ms. Achievement, and I went, what? Wait, what? How, where do I sign up?
Right? Right?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
So yeah, it was. So I got that same feeling. I don't have the doctorate. But I'm a master's, and it was like nice to be able to have a place that I felt like I belong. So, and you reigned with me, so it's been this amazing sisterhood throughout this whole time. So, let's talk about first of all, let's talk about what made you get into pageantry. Like, why would you choose? I say, why would you do this crazy thing? Because it's
Mhm.
bananas. But why? Why did you do this?
It just, well, you want the sob story or you want the happy jolly story? Growing up, I had attacks on self-esteem, if you will. I endured some bullying,
Yeah.
and I endured just not feeling the best about who I was and not being real clear on my identity. And so my mom would get me involved in things like modeling and dancing and theater and just the performing arts all around, right? I could do everything, like I said, but sing. And as that progressed, as I got older, I turned my interest to saying, well, I can model, I can perform a talent. Okay. Well, I can speak, because she even had me involved in kind of following under her because she was involved in Toastmasters. And so all of that coming together, I was like, oh, wow, I could do this in pageantry. And it just kind of it just evolved. It was just the natural order of things, if you will. And so I started doing pageantry. I think my first one I was 23, and I did Miss Black America. Then I did Miss Black Ohio, which fed into the Miss Black USA pageant system. And then I set out for a little bit, and just did modeling, fashion shows here locally, things along those lines, and then also performed dance. I do a lot of liturgical dance, but I was a dance major my first round at Ohio State University. So I even just danced in the community and in theater productions. And then I went back to pageantry in 2010. So there was a little bit of a gap. I did some directing also in the middle for Capital City Classic. And the pageant was the Miss Budweiser pageant, but it was still, I made it into a platform pageant because platforms are extremely important to me. And so, anyway, so then I participated in Miss Plus America and found a home there for a considerable amount of time. And I'm actually a lifetime queen with the Miss Plus America pageant. But I was like, that pageant bug, it can bite. It can sink its teeth in
Oh,
you. And when it does, it's like, okay, I'm have a hankering for another pageant here. And then the rest of the story I've already shared about Miss Achievement. And it was just to be able to showcase myself, because once it hit, it was like, I love this. I love pageantry. I love performing, and I love achieving and finding new friendships. And then of course, the community service, the platform, that's key. That's number one to me. That's so important. So
I
that's it.
cannot believe how similar like our some of our thing or like our stories are from the like I mean I started when I was 16, so um I was younger, but still like to have that arc. Um I was the first Miss Texas Plus America. I was in the first year of MPA. So that was my first state title. And
Mhm,
then I was second runner up at nationals. So I was part of that inaugural
mhm,
year, and I was like, that was crazy to me. And that really brought me some level of self-esteem that I didn't realize I had. um, and then I found achievement systems, like because of Diana. It was like that many years back that I heard about achievements and achievement pageants, and I went, wait, I don't have to look a specific way to have this amazing success and have these opportunities. And things just went and
mhm,
I am grateful because it's changed my life. And
mhm,
um I'm feeling some feels, like we talked about it a little bit. Everybody all week is like, are you okay? And I'm like,
mhm. No,
no,
I'm not.
no, I'm not. Even my therapist was like, are you going to be okay? I'm like, nope, nope. Next week we'll talk about it. Because this has been pageantry changed how how I function, how I've been able to learn about myself, and brought out so many amazing opportunities that I don't even think that I could ever enumerate. But the most important has been just the people, like the sisterhood, the, you know, through the years, having people that are still in my life that I met in pageants years ago, and knowing that that's not going to change is
Mhm.
the most amazing feeling. And yeah, I'm sad, but I know
Yeah.
it's time to retire. I know this is it. So whenever I pass my crown along to the whomever is going to have it, um,
Mhm.
uh, it's going to be like I don't know. I'm probably going to cry as much as I did when I got crowned.
Right, right. And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay for you to explore all of the emotions that you are going to have. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a sine wave. You're happy because this is a culmination of a career in pageantry and everything that you've given. Now, you're not giving up pageantry now, though, are you? You're going to still
No,
do
no,
that
no.
work, or
No, we're still,
okay?
no, yeah. And
Yeah.
in fact, like I told everybody, I said, I need like a good 2 weeks to not do any interviews, and people keep asking, and I'm like, I let me just get my achievement
Mhm,
girls all
mhm.
set and have everything good, and then give me a week to kind of recover, and then because Galaxy is in 2 weeks, and so all of the
Wow.
Galaxy queens are like, can we? And I'm like, yes, just give me a minute, please. Just
Yes, yes. 1 minute, 1 minute. Yeah, but I mean, we're not letting you go, you know? So,
No, like, I mean,
you
it's
know,
not good. And my husband even said to me today, he's like, you know that this is going to be in your heart, and this system is going to be something that you're not going to let go. And I'm like, yeah, I know this is a title I dreamt about for 20 years.
mhm,
And
mhm.
I watched Diana win it, and watched like everything that she's done over the years. So it is her story, and I love that we get to be part of her story and make
Definitely.
our own her story.
Mhm,
I mean,
mhm.
you're coming back again, so clearly this is something that you feel passionately about,
Mhm,
because let's talk about that too, because you were second runner up last year,
mhm.
and then felt the passion to come back and do this again. And let's talk about that whole year, because you've had now 360, almost 372 days to be able to make your new title something else. So let's talk about what you've done with it, and where do you see the future past Saturday?
Well, of course, this organization has served it's in my memory banks forever of being an organization that's tied to a pivotal moment in my life. Last year, when I was participating in the pageant and going for the title, I was not at my best. I was experiencing some health concerns, and at the time, I didn't know what they were, and they scared me. I went to the ER a couple times. I even called at a certain point, Diana, and just said, I think I'm going to need to drop. I'm, and I was explaining to her some of the things that I was experiencing. We can talk a little bit more about. But in that, I literally thought I was going to be leaving this earth realm. I thought I was going to die because of what was happening in my body and just not understanding it. Okay, you're looking like, well, what was going on?
No, because like
Honestly.
how many times I reached out to you, and I was like, "What can I do? How can I help?" Like I knew something really scary was going on, but I didn't want to be that person going, "Hey, hey, hey,"
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like sometimes when you're going through having medical history,
Mhm.
sometimes you need to be focused just on you, and not have people going, "Hey, hey." So
Well,
sorry.
sister friend, let me explain to you because when I tell you what it was, everyone's going to be like, oh, just that. But really, it was, I had entered into the change of life. In the Bible, it calls it the matter of life or the manner of the woman, right? But perimenopause. But I didn't know that's what it was. And let me tell you, all the women who went before me and claimed that hot flashes were the only aspect of perimenopause, I tell you, it's not. Oh no, I actually saw an article not too long ago. There's over 100, because I saw 40, then I saw 50. The last thing I found, there was an article of over 100 things that happen when our hormones change in our bodies. Well, what was happening with me is I was having extreme panic attacks. My heart palpitations were out of this off charts, and I didn't know what was going on. And I'm like, I couldn't function. Didn't have it under control. And yeah, sitting in an interview last year was fun because you're already having the anxiety for what's going on
Oh,
in
yeah,
your
and
body.
there's, like, so much anxiety. Deanna's like, "Oh my gosh, that's awful. Oh, look, Deanna's sister queen. Oh, Indiana
Yeah.
too. She says her too."
Yes, it's because nobody tells you. You just think, oh, I can do some hot flashes, I can do some night sweats, but they don't tell you
No, no,
all
but
of
it's
the
not.
other things. Man, man.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
going through that, and it was the initial stages, and so it was scary. It was scary, and not knowing what was going on was the worst part. So I call this year a redemption year, right? Where I'm able to bring my best self, or the best self that I can be. I've gotten a lot of the symptoms under control by just vitamins and supplementation. I try to get a little bit of sun in every day, some exercise, all the things, right? But it caught me off guard because I was going to be forever young, and it let me know, no, you're not. And so
Right,
now I
you can
decide
be
I'm going to age
forever young,
gracefully.
that just is a change, so it's just a because Mainly and I just talked about that too, is that, we don't have to grow up. We can be young at heart and still, like, our bodies will follow our lead. And
Mhm.
so mentally, if you take that lead and you're just like, nope, I'm Tinkerbell. Like, that is my thing. Tinkerbell is my thing. I
Yeah,
am like, nope, I am part of the Lost Boys, and I will be ever 5 years old. Even my students are like, Miss Stacy, how old are you? I'm like, I'm five.
I'm five.
And they're like,
I'm
you're
five,
not five.
forever five.
I'm just tall.
Yeah. Well, I don't even celebrate my birthday anymore. That's the thing, is I don't even, what's my age? I don't know. I have one. Like however years I've been here, that's what I've got. So
Deanna says she totally understands. It gets much better. Oh, Nancy's in the house. Hey,
it
Nancy. We are forever
forever
young. Oh, and
young.
Nancy gives up her title too. Like, so she and I are both like having the
Yeah.
feels. Oh,
Mhm.
you've been
Yeah.
an amazing queen, Nancy. Thank you so
Yes,
much
she
for being
has.
so,
Miss Petite, right?
yeah. And then
Yeah.
one of our judges too. So that
Mhm.
awesomeness. Oh my gosh. So, all right. So well, good. Then I'm glad. I mean, not that I wanted you to go through something horrific or anything, but the change is real. And since we don't normalize it, all of our moms were just like, "Oh no, it's that thing," and
Mhm.
you're like, "What thing? What?"
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm having a flash.
Mhm.
Okay, what's a flash? Like, what do you like? What do you?
It's
What
my
happened?
personal summer. I'm like, I wish that's all it was. Like, I can take
Right?
a person at the
No.
fan blowing on me now, right?
Yeah, no, my husband is like, "Will it ever not be 69 degrees in the house?" I'm like,
I can't see that. I don't understand. What do you speak of? So, but yeah, so that I this is just a redemption year where I'm being able to put my best foot forward, being able to promote my platform, being able to do the work, doing all the things, even in the midst of the coronavirus and everything, because there were some other things that came upon me in my health, and I went from one thing to another, and so it really took me a moment to hit my stride. But I really feel like, this last portion of the Miss Norfolk America reign has been an example of who I truly am in pageantry. And like I said, the platform is extremely important, doing the story time with the queen, doing the free on first Fridays, for people who can't afford trauma informed coaching.
right.
It can get a little bit expensive. And some people who've been through trauma, severe trauma, they don't work, they're on disability, or they may not even have those resources available to them. And so being able to give back on a monthly basis is just saying, hey, my doors are open. Let's talk. What do you need? And it fills up. If people have gotten wise to it, that they even sign up before I put the advertisement out. So that's just a testament that, the work is really affecting lives, and maybe one life at a time, but their lives trickle down to others. And so I think about that ripple effect.
Yep.
So yeah.
My favorite quote is my quote that says, "A drop in the ocean eventually becomes a wave of change. Be the
Mhm.
drop."
Yeah. Drop.
You clearly are the drop, and you just don't know. And then all of a sudden you get this, I know for me, I see it because I deal with children. And so they come back with their kids, and, when I least expect it, I'm in the ER and a doctor's like, "Hi, Miss Stacy." And I'm like, "Whoa, what? Hold on.
Mhm.
How do you know me? I had you
Yeah.
when I was 6." And I go, "Okay, well, there we go." So clearly I am Tinkerbell. Okay. Well, and like, uh, I at some point, and I know that a year ago you had offered to me doing trauma informed coaching, and I kind of pushed it off because I don't know. It's not to say I wasn't in a place. I've been in therapy for many years, but I am the victim of sexual assault at the age of 16, and although I can openly talk about it, it wasn't until I recently just saw a documentary about an actress that was assaulted by Marilyn Manson. And
Mm.
immediately, as she's unraveling her story, I am reliving my own story and recognizing that not only was I the victim of assault, but I was groomed. And
Yes.
it
Mhm.
hit me in a way that I have not ever felt. And all of a sudden I went, okay, maybe I need to have trauma informed coaching. And my therapist was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Well, you know how we normally talk and we're kind of happy and like we just have a conversation." And he said, "Yeah." I'm like, "It's about to get dark." Because I
Mm.
know I from that moment, I recognize that there's still something in that box that has not been released.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And the fact that you are that amazing human that gives people that opportunity to find a way to heal those things in their lives, I think is magical. And that is, I know, what is the calling for your heart. That's the calling for your mission. So I think anybody that takes advantage of that really is taking advantage of a blessing. So thank you for doing what you're doing, because that is, I know, I'm sorry. We got to do lots of love. Okay. Um, and we can come back to that, but I want to talk about um, the system and the areas of competition, because I want people to understand that this is virtual and it's different. It's not like anything you've ever done. And I don't know about you, but I know that last year during crowning, because it was live, I felt that same kind of anxiety,
Mhm.
just like I would feel on stage. So I don't know if you felt that too.
Mhm. Yeah, most definitely. And keep in mind, I was still going through that anxiety too. So I was like, oh, so I didn't know if it was just the general nerves or if it was the hormonal nerves, right? But
Right.
in addition to that, the only thing that was missing was the hands to hold and the hug that you get. I never cherished the hug of like the first runner up to the
Yeah.
winner, until you don't have it, because
Yeah.
that's that moment of almost breathing life and support into the person, both the person who's going away as first runner up and the person who's winning. And just giving that one moment, like, collect yourself, take a deep breath. This is good. You're a winner, regardless of which role you're in. And you don't have that. And that hug, and people think that's so cheesy, holding hands, but the thing is, that's real. And it serves a purpose. And you
Yeah.
don't have it virtually, but it's still hard work. I don't want anyone to think that a virtual pageant is easy, because it is not. It is not. There is a challenge in it. You're challenged with, you have to get your paperwork in, you have to submit it, you are faced with technology, and are you executing the best that you possibly could with all of that? There's work that's involved in. Now, the good part is the amount of retakes. Now, I've heard some people
Whoa,
say,
girl. Yes. Amen.
now,
Amen. Haley says,
I have a lot of retakes. I ain't gonna lie. So,
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't take me 4 hours to do my evening gown. I mean, there was rain in the middle of it, but I mean, my field presentation was one take. I just was like, bam, we're done. Um, I walked away from it and I was like, and it's done. It's out of my head. I'm done. Just box it and we're finished.
Mhm.
Yeah, evening gown.
The evening gown this year, well, first I went to a park, beautiful park, right? But I just couldn't get the right look and feel that I was going for. So that was a whole Sunday or Saturday. It was a Sunday, kind of not wasted because I've got good footage. It just isn't footage that I submitted.
Right.
Then I actually went and I have a different type. I have a dress that's Grecian, maybe looking a little
Uh-huh.
bit.
Yeah.
And so I had seen on the way of going and judging Pure International, I had passed this structure that was like columns, and I'm like, oh, that would be perfect. Well, I had decided that I was going to go after the day after they did their crowning. I was just going to go down the street and film. Well, there was a soccer game happening. And so
Okay.
there are all the fans passing by, all of the fans passing by to get to the soccer field. And I'm like, man, I can't do this. I mean, I'm bold and I'm public, but I can't do this. And so, because who knows what would have been in the footage. So I had to find another space. And I actually found a space. It's very unique. It's like a bridge. It's like a bridge that goes over one of our main streets here. Very kind of architecturally just interesting and everything. But I tell you, by the time though I got the right walk, my feet were killing me. You long for the moment to just walk across the stage and get it
And
done.
do
One
that
and
do that thing and then be done, and that's it. But no, this is hours of in the heat, because it's one thing to stand on stage and wait for them to call your name and things like that. It is a totally different thing to be doing that walk over and over and over. Even my husband started doing the walk.
done. Well, my husband was there and he was giving me some critiques, and some I took and some I didn't. But he's been extremely supportive, extremely supportive. So
And isn't that, I mean, that to me, that was, even though I didn't have the holding the hands and looking at my first runner up and knowing like this, I mean, because honestly, I didn't believe my name was going to get called. Like, I didn't think I really honestly, when it got down to Layla, I was like, that's it. I'm out. Like, I didn't win. And my husband was like looking at me. He's like, Stacy, are you not doing the math? And I'm like, no, like I'm literally, because I muted and everything. Pageant husbands are the best.
they
Absolutely.
are, they
They
are. We love them.
and Haley sent virtual hugs to all of us. So that's she's been
Oh,
on all
hug
day. So
back,
I
hug
know.
back.
Lots of love, lots of love. But like, but the one thing that I did love was that I had him next to me the whole time. And that is the first time that I've ever had that experience, to have him there. So even as I was being anxious, he was there to hold my hand and tell me he loved me and it didn't matter. And then was sitting there going the whole time, do the math. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Do the math. And I'm like, no, like no, somebody else would. He's like, so okay, so let's talk. So field presentation is, and I always do this wrong. Field presentation is 15, and
10.
then photogenic is 10. No,
Mhm.
right?
Evening
So
gown is 30, right? And then field presentations 10, photogenics 10, and then interview is 50.
yes, and
Mhm. Now I
so
treat field presentation like it's 50. The effort I put into field presentation, but it's
okay,
10.
girl, you won field presentation last year because it was like all like you were doing a presentation for your job in HR. And I was like, wait, nobody told me I was supposed to do this. So clearly,
No, but I'm competing against myself, right? I'm
right.
not competing against anyone else. And so I'm like, well, what did I do last year and what can I do better? What can I demonstrate? And I think I may have done that. I don't know. I may have. We'll have to find out on Saturday.
Oh, and I mean, you'll have the scores on Sunday either way. So like
Mhm,
whatever, because I think, and I think that's the one thing too with all of this is that we're not competing against anybody else.
mhm, mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I know this time last year I was very much in my head and I wasn't necessarily feeling like the most secure about stuff. And I'm not afraid to say that. Like I really was in my brain and having a lot of feels. And Saturday morning I just woke up and I'm like, they're either gonna love me or they're not. And I got no control over it at this point. So we're just gonna be the best Stacy and whatever happens, happens. But being able to get the scores the next day and knowing how close it was between the three of us,
Mhm.
it was half no, point 0.7 between you, me, and Layla, which
Wow.
is crazy. I mean, think about how close that had to be for
Wow.
all of us. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't go back and do the math. I read the comments, took them in for feedback. Feedback's a gift. And then I'm probably gonna have to go back and look now that you said that. So I didn't realize.
Yeah. I mean, and with you winning field presentation,
Mhm,
and honestly, and I think Anna won overall gown, so our Ms. Achievement USA. Uh,
mhm,
so she got that high point there, but to think that it was that close. I mean, when do you have point? I think it was point 0.2 between first and second. Like that just is craziness,
very
and
close.
that
Yeah.
means that all of us were being our best selves and not trying. I mean, not trying to compete against each other, but trying to be our best people. So I
Mhm,
think that that is
mhm.
really what sets this concept apart too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And the
Bring
sisterhood
your
is
best self to it and put it all out there, and then let the judges do their hard job, because that's what it is. It's a very difficult job for the judges. And
and the judges were I don't know about you. You've been in pageantry long enough. So when I logged in, I went and luckily my I was muted because I went like I was like and they're like, Stacy, you're muted. And I went, oh hi. Because
you're
you
like,
know
thank God.
Diana was releasing who the judges were, but it didn't process until seeing Reggie, and I went, oh, whoa, like he's she has the most amazing judges that are from all spectrums of the world, not just in pageantry. And
Mhm,
these people are looking at us as, the amazing humans we are. So,
mhm, mhm,
uh, you know, I think. So let's talk about your platform and being Queen Esther and
mhm.
reading and how you really are changing lives and really using a crown and a sash to do that and just using your voice.
Well, my platform is actually a dedication to this particular reign, and just achievement and paying an honor to my particular career in human resources, and the bivocational career that I have also in life coaching, specifically trauma informed care. And so I try to contextualize everything that I do around those two pieces. And so I have career development, and it's all under the arms of what I call Bootaloo. Now, Bootaloo was birthed, I think, back in 2006 or so. And I heard the words be you, do you, love you come across my spirit. And I knew in a moment that that was something that was going to last probably a lifetime for me. And in fact, so far, this is true. And Bootaloo is a self esteem campaign and foundation that I have founded. And it really contributes back to research and initiatives around self esteem. BU is self awareness, do you is self confidence, and love you is self love. And my assertion behind that is you have to have the awareness, the confidence, and the love in place in order to really walk in the truest sense of your identity and who you are. And to put that fingerprint, that's why I'm always bringing the fingerprint up to the camera, the fingerprint on the world, your purpose, the reason that the raison d'etre, if I'm pronouncing that correct, right? And so it's all about, why are you here? Everyone has something that they're supposed to be doing. And your identity and your awareness and your confidence flows right into that purpose. But from an HR perspective, we have people having to understand, well, what's my assignment as far as the marketplace is concerned? What am I supposed to be doing out there in the workforce? And so I kind of bridge that all together, not kind of, I do bridge all of that together and have Bootaloo Career and Bootaloo Future. Bootaloo Future is for K through 12. I have a reading program. I have workshops that I go into the schools in order to teach people how to write resumes, to go for their first interview, things like that. I also partner with Dress for Success, other types of things. The list is kind of long, so I won't go into all of that. But then also from the trauma-informed care, I've already mentioned some of the work that I do around that, as far as being able to get them prepared for their future. If you have trauma, if you have that, what I call junk, gunk, and funk on your life, how could you possibly truly walk in your true identity and purpose? It's going to be muddled a little bit. And so let's get that out. Let's get all of that out of the way so that you can walk in the fullness of who you are. And so that's some of the sampling of the work that I do.
And that is miraculous. Like, so very, oh my goodness. Oh, thank you, Ralph. Ralph is joining us. Oop, I'm losing my voice. Oh, I guess Diana's watching too. Thank you so much for being here, everybody.
Thank you.
I think that being able to help other people really is what this speaks about. Mm-hmm. Being able to change other people's lives in a positive way and let them find their best self is the most rewarding gift you can ever have. So I know that the people that you work, oh, Diana's there. Hi, Diana. the queen of queens. So our lovely, amazing director, which I don't think that I have told her I don't think there's enough words to be able to extend the gratitude that I have for the queen that she is and for the queen that she has been and for the vision that she has had for this organization. And I know that you and I both like feel those feelings so deeply, and knowing that we have this opportunity with achievement and being able to really be our best selves and then help other people be their best selves,
yes,
which,
yes.
Isn't that what the magic is? Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So like where do you see Saturday happens, you win the title. What happens as your first thing that you do as Ms. Achievement World?
The first thing I do is probably, unless I decide to film something real quick, it will probably be the wbexcoaching.com opportunity that I have been blessed with, which is another one of the ways in which I'm giving back. And it's facilitating implementation mastery session. It's an awesome merging of my career as far as adult learning is concerned, and the necessity to apply what you learn. You go to these conferences and you go to these, even if they're online, and it's actually a summit that's happening, and it's for the coaching industry, but I see so many takeaways for other places and other careers across the globe, really across the whole gamut. It runs the whole gamut. Right. But the implementation mastery sessions are a small group gathering of international participants that have been attending the summit, and then we come and we discuss the matter. We discuss what we've just learned, right? So that we can have a little bit of stronger transfer of learning occur. And so that happens literally. I have something lined up every week until May to actually host the implementation mastery session. And I'm so excited about that. And that came off of doing a good job of doing the pre-summit. And the pre-summit was a concentrated 3 weeks of sessions. And I got a really high score there. So they invited me back to be one of the facilitators. Then I also get to facilitate some roundtables. So I'm just excited that I have appearances lined up no matter what. If it's just me and who I am, or if it says Miss Achievement North America or Miss Achievement World, or wherever I fall within that, right? And being able to just go out there and continue to do the work And that's just in the coaching. And then, of course, I'm going to continue to do all the things. And also have an opportunity to travel the globe with my work as a human resources professional, as a CHRO of my husband's company. So I'm very excited that now that the borders are being opened up a bit, that I'll be able to jet set, if you will, and hopefully take the crown with me.
I'm a
Wink,
little
nudge.
jealous. Because I think that's been the most difficult part of this reign, is that I am immunocompromised, so I really had to get really super creative
Mm,
with how I was able to travel the globe and be able to really make my mark without going anywhere.
mhm,
And it hasn't been until the last couple of months that I've actually been able to do anything live. And so now I'm like, okay, I told my husband, can we go to a country or something? And he's like, no. I'm
yeah.
like, "Ugh." So I guess there'll be things to be able to look forward to, like without a crown, and be able to just go and do it and live vicariously through
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, and whomever wins the title, like, I know you'll be doing what you do whether you win the title or not, because the
Mhm.
crown on your head does not make you a queen. You're a queen
Exactly,
magnet. So,
exactly. It's just something pretty to look at as we walk through the door, but the work is still going to get done, right? So
right.
definitely.
And the work is not always easy. And I laughed earlier. I told Maylee when she was on, I said, I've worn the crown more this week probably than I've worn it. Like, I mean, secretly I wear it all the time at home, but
Your husband's like, yep, she does. And yes, I heard that snort. I'm a snorter too, but I haven't done it on here. So
well, but see, now we have to get the snort out, because I that was that when I did Texas Plus America, that was where I met Diana. I was at Miss Plus America, and it was right after Miss Congeniality came out, and I snort. I do not. I mean, I am so not a girly girl. So, like, my makeup is never on. I do not walk well. It was all of those things, and then I fell on stage at MPA, flat on my face, and Diana was just like, "And we'll wait for her to get up." And I was like, "That's
wow.
me." So, I
Realize.
yeah, so.
Oh, so Sandra Bullock. That's awesome. That's
I just
awesome.
so I
Mm,
watch it periodically just to remind myself that, you don't have to be perfect to be a queen. You just have to be the best you can be. And whoever that is, we learn through the process. So
mhm, mhm. Yeah,
I
yeah.
hope
Bootaloo, baby, bootaloo. That's what I say.
all the time. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad that you're better and that you're feeling better, and that, because I know that Um, I went through the change 15 years ago. No,
Mhm.
12 years ago. So, and at the same time I was having heart issues. So, like, at the same time it happened, I was diagnosed with heart failure. So there was no de- determining whether, the SVTs I was
Right.
having, like the rapid heart rate, was that hormonal, was that something that was going on with my heart. I mean, now I have an electrophysiologist that just went, oh man, it's just the change, and he, like, shut down part of my defibrillator and was like, we're not even going to measure them anymore, because until you get normalized, it's just going to happen. And I went, really? Like, couldn't somebody have told me that, like, 10 years ago?
Right. And I mean, and the thing is when I went to the ER, they're like, nothing's wrong with you, nothing's off. I figured it out on my own. And
Mm.
that's, if I could change my platform, which I'm not going to, but if I could, it probably would be around educating people about the change, the manner of a woman. I probably would, simply because there's so much. I hear people talk that are in my age range about things that they're experiencing. And I just simply ask them, I give them a little nudge, and I said, have you checked with your doctor? And have you determined whether or not it's tied to your hormones? Is it tied to possibly perimenopause or menopause?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
because the things you're describing fit. I'm not saying they are. I'm not a doctor. I don't carry a license. That's not my field. So I'm gonna rein my lane. But I would suggest you to go to someone who is in that field and really press for be your own advocate. Be your own advocate. So
Well, and we as women, we don't always, well, we don't always. We do not always. We never put ourselves first. We rarely, because we're givers. That's our whole thing. Is we're caretakers in our innate being. I always use an analogy I heard years ago that the reason that men and women are so different is men biologically as cavemen were designed to go hunt and women were gatherers. So
mm,
men go football. Yes, yes, yes. Women go, oh, let's talk about that. What color is that? So we're gatherers, we gather information, but
yeah,
we're also the caretakers innately. So we're always worried about other people and rarely take those internal moments that, our body goes, hey, 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 and go, oh, perhaps I need to check that.
right,
So,
right. Mm,
which ties into, my platform with working with the American Heart Association and, how the simplest signs can be the bigger sign of something that we do not recognize in our bodies trying to tell us, hey, go
mhm.
get checked.
Yeah,
Um, so
yeah.
I'm so, again, blessed that it wasn't something more serious, but still
Mhm,
it is like one of those things where, because it's not normalized and we don't talk about it. And
mhm.
maybe you can work it into your platform, and have it be part of Bootaloo with, what happens after 40, 50, 60-ish.
Well, I'm working it into my career because I have determined as a person in charge of the human resources of our organization that all of the women will have the ability to have benefits around menopause. And it was rewarding in doing some of the research around it that there are organizations that are doing that. And it's important to understand that this is a health concern that may take you out a couple days here and there, and to see how that fits into either FMLA or if it fits into, because as you're learning it, as you're experiencing it, it takes a minute to get it regulated. And
Right.
I would say, hindsight 2020, I'm a simple case. I've heard some pretty bad stories. I've heard but I was like, this is not going to rule me. This is not going to be what my legacy is that, menopause took me out. so, so,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. Well, and I think that, as you were talking, as you were explaining that, one of the things that came to my thought was Zosie Toonsey and her making her statement, we need to take up space. And
Mhm.
we need to have these discussions. We need to have these moments that are deep and meaningful, but to open up those conversations, because if we don't, we're never going to be considered on this planet equal to men. Like we need to take up that space and be able to say we have representation.
Mhm.
That like goes hand in hand with my work with Go Red and with the Research Goes Red, is that only 30% of research programs are out there that even consider women. So if we're not being represented, how can we possibly have good health and be taking care of ourselves? So I think that is extraordinary that you are folding that into your organization. And honestly, that just seems to me like something that would be so easy to resonate and say to other people that are in HR,
Mhm.
hey,
Yeah.
have you, I
Yeah.
mean, because it never even occurred to me with FMLA and being able to take time off, and that rattle, and that you need to, in some cases, like when your
Mhm.
heart rate is racing, or if you're having an anxiety attack and you can't process it, like, I mean,
Mhm.
it,
Well, the
again.
brain fog, the oh my God, the headaches, the joint pain. That some people have likened it to feeling like fibromyalgia. Do you have a complication with your thyroid, or is it just something that's happening in that area? And like there was a point where my neck was stiffening up. I couldn't swallow. I could, but the anxiety made me feel like I couldn't. I mean, it's just all these little symptoms. And literally what I do now, I'm very aware of my body. And I literally go to Googleversity first, and then I'll go to some more credible sources, but I'll go to Googleversity and I'll put in whatever I'm experiencing and perimenopause and menopause and see if it's actually something that exists and it's connected. But if you don't know to do that, then you're going to go to the doctor, be on all these medications, getting all these procedures done to you when it's really just an imbalance in your hormones.
Nope. I finally am with a doctor. My Zebra. I don't know if Haley's still on. Haley is complex care pediatrician. Grateful that Dr. Word Productions brought someone that is a Zebra doctor into my life so that I knew to look for an adult one. But I've always had a doctor because of HMOs and because of our medical programs being not about the person, but more about the money. I see a doctor and he'd send me to a specialist, but none of my specialists spoke to each other. None of my doctors spoke to each other. And even my primary doctor wasn't really overseeing the case. He was just sending me to somebody else. So I had diabetes, which is now gone. Like I am back to being pre-diabetic, but more than likely was caused by going through, through the change and the fact that my thyroid, changed, and my thyroid, I went from being hypothyroid to being hyperthyroid. Like, and sitting down with a doctor that took an hour and a half and went, let's talk. And I went, where have you been for the last 25 years of my life? But
did you say Zebra doctor?
Yeah, complex care. They call themselves zebras because zebras all have different stripes, and their case, since it's hard to be able to have someone with a really complex case that is a doctor that can go, hey, let me help you with that as a bigger, spectrum. So, hey, Sindel, how are you? So,
is that like a functional doctor then? That kind of looks at the whole system and how it all works together.
Exactly. So,
definitely.
So Haley can probably message you about it too, but she specializes in children that have multiple issues, and then how to be able to look at the bigger spectrum of how she can serve them best as a patient without having to totally give them to somebody else and go, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That was 15 minutes. All right. Thanks very much.
Yeah, the disconnect, right? And then the bill, but what I get from it. I mean, literally, if I had gone with who I had gone to at the time after I decided I didn't want to pay the ER bills anymore, it would have literally, I would be on a pill to go to sleep, a pill to wake up, and it wouldn't have been treating what was really wrong. And I'm like, I was wise enough to say, no. I look at the side effects of the medication, and that usually is what encourages me to say no. Because I'm like, is it worth, not sweating at night and growing like, another limb or something? So.
Yeah, no, I was not smart enough to, I shouldn't say that. 25 years ago, they gave me 8 weeks to live. I did a trial study that saved my life. So from the bigger spectrum of I am alive and blessed today, and I took that risk and was part of something that changed science. So now I live with those side effects, but like I should be more aware of it. But, I do take a pill to make me go to sleep. I mean, honestly, I look and I go, why do I have all of these pills? And this new doctor is like, nope, we're going to take that out. Nope, we're going to take that out. Nope, we're going to take. And I went, wait, what? And I went, okay, I'm so excited. I don't even know what to do. So find someone that can be that advocate for you, and whomever that can be, to help support you. See, Sindel says, Esther, I love you. See, I told you. Step brown.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. All right. So we've been talking a long time. I know you have other things that you've got to do. So, what would you like to talk about, if anything else that you want to share with everybody that I haven't been able to touch on?
Actually, I'm going to turn it back on to everyone who's listening or will listen, and just want to encourage you to get out of the box and do something that either you enjoy or maybe makes you a little bit uncomfortable. That's my message. My message is to simply say to enjoy life, to not allow things that may seem like obstacles or difficult things that you have to overcome to stop you from achieving. Whatever that achievement may be, if it's going back to school, if it is doing being the best mom or dad that you can be, if it is offering the services and the skills that you have in your heart and in your being to the world in order to make a difference, in order to raise someone else up. Some people call it the butterfly effect, the ripple effect. But just to go out there and to live life, we as a world have gone through some pretty horrific things, some pretty traumatic things, that word trauma, in the last couple years. And let's make that be behind us, and let's just forge ahead in order to be the best selves we can be for ourselves and for others. That's it.
Oh, Queen. I'm feeling the feels. Um, Beautiful. And I absolutely agree. Like, that moment when you think that it's scary is the moment you lean into it. That moment where
Mhm.
it feels, I can't do it, lean into, you can lean into that moment. Because if you feel that feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm going to fall, let the fall happen, the wings happen, and magic
Yes,
happens.
sure. Definitely. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this time and just sitting and chatting with you, and would love to do it again. So,
We
or
will do it again. We will definitely, we sometime very soon. Okay. Well, as one way or another, we're going to chat on Saturday, but we will definitely do this again. And how can we follow your reign? How can we follow what is happening in your life so that we can continue to find out more about Bootaloo and Queen Esther and her story time and trauma based coaching? Is that trauma informed coaching? I'm
trauma
sorry.
informed, trauma informed, which just simply means that a person's been through trauma and you understand that, and you understand how that can impact how you treat them and care for them. And so it's just the focus in which I come from as far as coaching. Now, as finding me, you can find me. I'm pretty simple on LinkedIn, Esther Renee Brandon, and you can find me on Facebook, same thing, Esther Renee Brandon, where you can see me on one of my Facebook pages, Bootaloo, B-U, do you, love you, all spelled out. It has a butterfly. You'll see me, you'll know me, and also on Queen Esther Speaks. So any of those are great places to find me and see what I am doing next.
Yay! Thanks, my love. Thank you for being on and sharing your story that has evolved over this last year, and being honest, because I think that that's one of the things too, is if we have the courage to be honest, then that helps other people in their situation, whatever it is. So I am grateful to you, and I'm grateful to have these moments, and I just really uh, thank you so much. So let me, I know,
You.
so much love.
Thank you. Thank you for such a fabulous reign and being an amazing achievement, world pageant queen, and just an amazing person. And doing what you do and doing it so well, getting the word out about things that are important to you, walking the talk, walking the talk, and truly being an example for little ones and little at heart or young at heart to be able to look up to and to
Thank
follow. So thank you so much for that.
you. It is my pleasure. It's been my honor. I just can't even, I'm not going to make it. Okay. I'm not going to make it till Saturday. Okay. Hold tight. I don't want let me wrap up the show before I start crying.
Okay.
Thank you, my love. Oh, thank you everybody for being here and being part of this. It's so wonderful to have my sister queens on and to be able to share their stories. And again, it's wonderful to be able to sit and talk with them, but it's even more precious to me to be able to share it with all of you, with all of my crownies. I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful that you follow our ride. If you didn't get to be able to hear this live, hopefully you're hearing it on replay on YouTube, Pageantry Now. I don't think we're on Dr. War Productions, but on Facebook, and then we will be on podcasts everywhere probably by Friday. So it just takes a little bit for it to upload. But thanks again to all of you. I really appreciate you being here and being part of my world. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a great night. Stay safe.